Hello everybody and welcome back again to Let's Play Disco Elysium, where we found this little room near the harbor and there seems to be a lot of stuff going on here, so let's start to look around a bit. The radio is emitting strange buzzing sounds. A giant aspirant on the pillow and a pattern of coffee rings on the armrest. A giant aspirant. Someone is habitually chilling next to the radio. Well, that would be a logical conclusion. And what is this over here?
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change."
Okay, so I can insert 10 cents into it, but what would that do? Doesn't really tell me. But I mean, it's only 10 cents, so I feel I can afford to just give it a try.
The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move.
Okay, I have a skill check for interfacing, 70%, long way home. Let your muscle memory dial a random number. Oh, okay, so I would be using the payphone. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do it.
Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952, and a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. 993.
Okay, now I'm curious. What number is this?
Calling. Calling.
Is this a valid number at all?
Still calling. Then.
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. You rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lamy. How may I help you?
It's a 24-hour video rental. Okay, that is indeed very random.
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
What is this place? Well, apparently it's a 24-hour video rental.
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lamy.
No, I meant, what is this place to me? Do you know me? Why did I call you? Well, I mean, if your muscle memory remembered this number in particular, I guess that means that you dialed it a lot before? So I guess Harry has been into rental videos? Do I want to know what kind of videos he has been renting? Probably not, huh? Do you know me? I mean, I guess it's possible that he might recognize his voice if Harry has been calling them a lot. So let's see.
No.
Well, that's disappointing. So what is this place to me? I mean, it's clearly a number that you called a lot, but still.
Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here.
That would be the logical assumption. Why did I call you? Yeah, like I said, it must be a very familiar number.
Maybe you called to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period?
I don't know. Maybe, but I don't even know my name. Exactly.
If you need any further assistance, you can visit us on the corner of Voyager and Main. I can't help you over the phone. Are we done?
Yeah, Harry, stop annoying this poor retail worker.
The call is terminated by the other party. You're left with the discomforting sound of the disconnect tone.
Well, this was pointless. I mean, I guess it gives us some insight into Harry's past and his hobbies. Rental videos. Okay, what do we got over here? It's a book, La Fumée, Volume 1, Number 4. Use Interact button in inventory to inspect the book. Alright, let's do it. Should be here, right? Yes, it is. The leading intellectual organ of Martinez communism offers a radical Masovian perspective on a range of contemporary issues. The cover features a stylized portrait of the late King Frizzle with a pair of white antlers growing out of his head. Well, that is odd. But yeah, let's interact with it.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Frizzle. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover.
So why antlers?
Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it.
Well, that's interesting, but why King Frizzle?
Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see.
Okay, but what is this metaphor supposed to tell me? That communism has overcome the monarchy? You know, the Enders growing above the king? It's kind of a weird metaphor. But okay, flip through the pages, see what catches your eye.
To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections. International developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note.
These little pieces of German are very amusing to me. I mean, Kunst und Kultur obviously means art and culture. But yeah, maybe let's start with the editor's note.
Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turned to smoke under communism.
Man, the communists in this world really like their weird, convoluted metaphors. Which is interesting because in our world, communist art is usually very straightforward. I mean, there's symbolism, but the message is not supposed to be buried under layers of metaphors, right?
But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel. La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers.
Well, someone sounds a little bit defensive.
Only 4 issues in, and it sounds like they've already alienated their readership.
Yeah, it does sound like that.
So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
Whisper, Kim, I think this is a communist magazine. Yes, I think that is the obvious conclusion. Play it cool, pretend everything's in order. Yeah, look, Kim, a communist magazine.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
Oh, so this is a union office. Well, I guess that makes sense.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
All right, let's have a look on international developments.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine.
Well, sounds exhilarating.
You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd.
I feel that the bear wrestling is a little bit out of place among all the other items.
Whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that.
Apparently Reaction Speed had the same thought. Alright, let's see what this bear wrestling is all about. Seems a little too foreign for my taste. No, I want to know more about bear wrestling. Specifically, does this mean that there's bears wrestling each other, or bears wrestling humans? That's the big question.
It seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara, SRV, devised and promoted by none other than President Kenajinsky himself.
Alright, so I guess it is wrestling humans against bears, unless the president is for some reason really concerned about the fitness of bears.
According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionately known to his people, has recently decreed bear wrestling the national sport of the SRV.
As you do, as you do. Hang on, tell me more about this Uncle Sport. When it says bear wrestling, does that mean two bears are wrestling each other? Or, yeah, I'm guessing it's human against bear, right? But sure, tell me more about this Uncle Sport.
Based on the description in this article, he appears to be an extremely competent and democratically elected president.
Well, if the article says so, it must be true, right?
Sapormat Sport Kelezinski is well into his third decade as president of the SRV. Outside Samara, he's known for three things: brutal repression of internal dissent, monumental corruption, and a near pathological obsession with physical fitness.
Really? Are you saying, Encyclopedia, that someone who would make bear wrestling the national sport is not like a completely sane and competent person? Really?
Don't forget the moustache.
Oh, moustache.
Right, like all Samaran men above the age of 40, President Kelezinski wears a truly spectacular walrus moustache.
Well, that's nice, but now let's get back to the bear wrestling.
It's quite straightforward. A standard match features one man, or in some cases woman, against one bear. Two competitors, one ring, 5 rounds, or until incapacitation. According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public support stands at 87%, and youth obesity and alcoholism rates are down 12% and 7% respectively.
Well, I mean, if you kill off your youth, then I suppose obesity and alcoholism will decline.
This is the SRV we're talking about. If you think those are the real numbers, there's probably a guy who wants to sell you a bridge in La Cherte.
Yeah, that's also a good point. I guess it's hard to fight a bear if you're out of shape. I guess it's hard to fight a bear if you're drunk. Honestly, I feel when it comes to bear wrestling, being sober and fit are only minor concerns. I mean, they might give you a little bit of an edge, but the bear will probably still kill you. So this isn't it. Not sure I trust these numbers. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't.
What are you, a statistician?
I might.
Did the moral intern send you on a fact-finding mission? This is the SRV party line, comrade.
All right. Kim, do you think there's any chance our case will take us to the SRV? I kinda doubt it. Always good to catch up on foreign affairs. Sure, let's ask Kim for his opinion.
The Samaran People's Republic? No, I should expect not. Why do you ask?
I was thinking it might be fun to see a bear fight. I was thinking it might be fun to partake in a bear fight. Well, maybe until the bear actually shows up. So I guess I'll stick to just watching it.
They're quite the spectacle, as I understand. I've heard they make the people in the front rows wear plastic sheets.
I'm guessing to protect against blood and potential body parts?
On account of the blood, you see.
Yeah, I thought so.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
All right, now let's have a look at Kunst und Kultur.
It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture.
And you're right about that, although your pronunciation of Kultur is a little bit off.
Why they decided to title this one section in Volda is beyond you.
So they use German as a replacement for Volda in this game? Okay.
As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS.
CS? Do we know anyone with those initials if he's local?
The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tourney, a critical Mazovian perspective.
And what would that be?
The Tip Top Tourney is an inter-Isolari racing series, mostly known for its high speeds, ludicrous sponsorship deals, and high death toll. In Revachol, it's held quadrennially on the prestigious Zero Carousel racing circuit.
Well, that's very interesting. Read the profile of CS. Alright, let's see what these communists have to say about Tip Top. I'm guessing probably nothing good on account of, like, the ludicrous sponsorship deals that were mentioned earlier. Right? So, yeah, ludicrous sponsorship deals. I'm pretty sure they don't like that. But maybe let's start by reading the profile.
This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
So maybe that's why they only gave the initials and not their full name. But yeah, sure, let's see what the communists have to say about Tip Top.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colourful drivers.
Probably not.
Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tourney.
Wait, what's wrong with Tip Top? Well, I mean, even if we ignore the sponsorship stuff, I'm guessing the high death toll might be seen as problematic.
Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes.
Right.
So, all of it, basically.
All of it. Hang on, who wrote this stuff? What's so bad about sponsorships? What's wrong with a good motor crash? Just keep it interesting. Yeah, I feel that the sponsorship stuff might not be great, but it seems like a lesser concern compared to the death toll. So, who wrote this?
Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines. Nasteb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka.
Okay.
There's no way those are real names.
Why would you think that?
Have you ever met anyone named Exilus? Come on, they're plainly pseudonyms.
I honestly wouldn't know. So yeah, what is so bad about the sponsorships?
Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tourney becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a fritter.
Yeah, I guess this might be valid, but like I said, it seems like the lesser concern compared to the death toll. Right, but then you get to see them crash. Apparently so.
And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
No, I'm pretty sure I like it for the racing. Wow, you're right, I really am just in it for the violence. I mean, I couldn't say if Harry was watching Tip Top Tourney for any of these reasons, but apparently the crashes are the reasons why a lot of people are watching it. I wouldn't be surprised anyway, so yeah.
You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tourney is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
Kim, did you know Tip Top Tourney is actually an orgiastic ritual of capitalistic destruction? I had no idea. Kim, this article says no one really watches Tip Top Tourney for the races. Yeah, I wonder what Kim's opinion on this is. I mean, he seems to be a car enthusiast. He's listening to Speed Freaks radio, so he might be watching Tip Top Tourney as well. So, are you watching it for the races?
Oh, come on. Can this article read your mind?
It seems to think so. No, I guess. It certainly seems to think so.
A certain kind of young man reads 1 or 2 books and suddenly thinks he understands the secret structures of reality. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I'd take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
So apparently Kim is not impressed with his take.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
All right, let's have a look at the local concerns.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike.
Right.
You skim the headlines. Paint the harbour red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside Apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Damn communists should have killed a lot of them when they had a chance. If it weren't for the wild pines, all those moochers would be out of a job. Charging rent just to live somewhere is pretty outrageous. Wouldn't it be better for everyone if labor and capital could reach some reasonable accommodation? Why should I care? This doesn't have anything to do with me. This is very interesting because in this case, the different, political alignments that the game has, the ones in your profile where you get points for, they're pretty on the nose here, right? In other, situations, it's a little bit more subtle, but here you can very obviously tell which reply corresponds to which, political alignment. So this one is fascist. This one is, I'm guessing, ultra-liberal. I was actually wondering about the use of ultra-liberal in this game because liberal is like a weird, flexible word that is used like very differently depending on who uses it and in which context. Because, it can mean socially liberal or it can mean economically liberal. And they don't necessarily go hand in hand. But from what I've seen in this game, it really only means economically liberal. Because social issues don't really occur that often. It's usually something about economical issues. So, within the context of this game, I feel you could almost replace ultra-liberal with just capitalist, right? So, this would be the ultra-liberal or capitalist choice. This is clearly the communist one, and I guess this would be the moralist one. It could also be this one, though, because that's another thing that I noticed. I feel that sometimes the so-called moralist opinion is really just having no opinion at all. Which, I don't know, is not necessarily the same, right? But, yeah, I don't know. I guess in this situation I will actually go for the boring, moderate, moralist approach.
According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital or their mucilaginous allies in the coalition.
Well, a communist magazine would obviously say that. So what's this about a coalition?
Judging from the context, it's something very large and fundamental. You should probably know about it already, honestly.
I feel I have heard about this before, yes.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
All right. It looks like I have read all of it, so let's put the magazine away. All right. Let's leave the menu. And, what is this?
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez.
Oh, am I getting this now because I have accumulated enough points as a moralist? You must be mistaken. I'm a real radical. That's me, Mr. Reasonable. Someone's got to keep it sane around here. This is because I keep saying none of the above to political stuff, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I've just been saying. Very often, the so-called moralist opinion is not having an opinion at all. And I mean, this is not always the same. In the previous case, obviously, whatever you may think of the moderate opinion, it was different than the option number 5, which was, I don't care, I don't have an opinion about this at all. So it's funny that sometimes they seem to equate it. Also, for what it's worth, I feel that not having an opinion can be a completely fine and valid choice. You don't need to have a horse in every race. And I think there's nothing embarrassing about saying, I don't know enough about this topic to really judge it appropriately, so I'm not having an opinion about it. But yeah, it's still interesting that being neutral means like being moderate in this game. I mean, I can kind of see it because usually in a lot of situations, I would say having a moderate, reasonable approach that's trying to find a compromise is not a bad approach. Very often it's just the most realistic and pragmatic one. But there's also situations in life where you really, should pick a side. Fundamental issues where you shouldn't try to compromise on. So when in such a situation you say, I'm not having an opinion about it, or I'm just going somewhere in the middle, trying to straddle the fence, I mean, you can do that, but it's probably not a very moral opinion. Sometimes you have to, take a stand and actually have an opinion about, certain subject. Anyway, I actually don't feel that I picked this all that often, the none of the above choice, because I felt it's kind of boring to pick it all the time. But like I said, sometimes it's fine to say, I don't have an opinion about this because I don't really understand this subject all as well.
It's also about that, but it's also more. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin. But something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience.
Kingdom of Conscience. First, where is this Kingdom of Conscience? No more talk. Sign me up for a passport. Opt in. No, I'm too fiery for this watercolor ideology. I'm trying to develop more extreme and interesting opinions. Tell me more about this Kingdom of Conscience.
It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
How do you bring about these circumstances? That's an honorable goal. Nod your head approvingly. That's a stupid goal. Shake your head dismissively. Tell me more about it. How do you bring about these circumstances?
Incrementally.
Incrementally, okay.
History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly.
Okay, interesting.
That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment.
But what about all the things that are wrong now? Okay, but what's the Kingdom of Conscience actually like? This sounds mega boring. Count me out. Let's ask more questions about this first. So, what about the things that are wrong now? What do we do about them?
Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future.
Okay, but I mean, these are about the needs of the future. If we change things in the present, they will hopefully be better for those in the future as well, right?
You may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working.
Okay, so this is very incrementally, when even my grandchildren might not reap the benefits of it.
What rationality?
Logic apparently likes it.
What sang-froid?
Sang-froid? I have no idea what that is. Wait, is this kingdom of conscience really about doing things or just preserving the status quo? I mean, I guess if the change is so incrementally that you can't really notice it, it may as well be. Okay, but what's the kingdom of conscience actually like? Yeah, tell me more about this.
Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed?
Well, it depends. I mean, revolutions are a thing, and, sometimes they are necessary. But it really depends on the status quo. Not every grievance has to be addressed with, chaos and bloodshed. So, I don't know. Maybe they mean the status quo now in our world or in, the world of Disco Elysium. And yeah, I mean, like I said, sometimes, revolutions are necessary, because otherwise change will not happen. But you have to pay a price for it, and you have to decide whether you're willing to pay that price and whether if the goal is worth it. Because obviously there's no guarantee that after the revolution things are actually going to be better than before. That's always a problem. But I'm going to say no on account of the fact that, sometimes, there are things that are worth fighting for, even if it means chaos and bloodshed. So I wouldn't rule that out completely.
Then you've never lived through real chaos.
I mean, that's also a good argument.
Sometimes, in the face of great disaster, defending the status quo is progress.
Yeah, like I said, you don't really know if a revolution will have better results at the end. So it's a gamble, I guess. Okay, but what's the kingdom of conscience actually like? Yes, tell me more about that.
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend and even more difficult to describe.
Okay.
Partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The kingdom of conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
Post-sexual? What does that even mean? But basically what you're saying is that you can't really describe what it is. The only thing that you can tell me that it's not any of the other ideologies. It's not capitalist. It's not nationalistic. It's not whatever. So I guess in that regard, it is kind of like having no opinion, It's just none of the others, but I can't really say what my standpoint actually is. So I guess that's why they're going this way. Sounds incredible. Allons-y, let's go there right now. That seems fine. I still want to live for the present, though. Opt out. Man, that sounds kind of terrible. I don't think I want to be a moralist anymore. Yeah, I'm going to opt in, because, I can still decide not to actually internalize this. So let's opt in for now.
Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and taking things slow?
All right, let's get there eventually. Right.
That's right.
Okay.
Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time from now, we are all going to be so much happier.
Yes, incrementally happier. I understand. Let's have a look at that. Where is it? Here we go. Kingdom of Conscience. Temporary research bonus -2 half-light. Calm water. Research time 1 hour 25 minutes. Not that long. Heartache is powerful, but democracy is subtle. Incrementally, you begin to notice a change in the weather. When it snows, the flakes are softer when they stick to your worry-worn forehead. When it rains, the rain is warmer. Democracy is coming to the administrative region. The ideals of DeLorean humanism are reinstating themselves. How can they not? These are the ideals of the Coalition and the Moralist International. Those guys are signal blue, and they're not only good, they're also powerful. What will it be like once their nuanced plans will have been realized? Yeah, they can't really tell me, that's the problem, right? But still, very interesting. I want to have a look at my stats again. I think it's here, right? Okay, so apparently you get a thought for each political alignment once you have reached 4 points. So now I got the moralist thought. And I have 7 communist points. I mean, like I've been saying, sometimes the communist options are like very on the nose, just like the other ones as well. But sometimes they are not really communist. They are barely center-left lukewarm stuff that any mainline social democrat around here would say. So the definition of communist is very broad, apparently. Okay, whatever. I'm sure we have more stuff to look at here. Yes, we do. Someone left the coffee machine on. A standard office file cabinet. The drawers seem to be locked. Okay. Oh, but there's more going on.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
All right, let's have a look inside.
It's unfortunate for the union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
Well, fortunate for us. Open the drawer. Ignore the drawer. No, let's open it.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders.
Let's browse through them.
Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. 2 kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara. And the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol, Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold.
So, is there anything interesting among this?
It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry.
Well, I guess I can force myself to go through the folders. Let's see if I can do it.
Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. How unwieldy your own willpower is to yourself. You're like an absurdist Samaran monk, focusing through not focusing.
Okay, well, in that case, we may have to return here another day.
Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing.
If I let my eyes go completely out of focus, all shapes start melting into each other. Could I actually focus through not focusing? Leave the folders alone for now. I don't know, can I?
You are a police officer, not a spiritual healer. You can focus the normal way by turning your attention to something and not letting go.
But if I let my eyes completely out of focus, all shapes start melting into each other. Maybe there's some meaning behind this.
Is that what you're doing with those folders over there?
Yes, no, of course not. Let's just get back to work, Lieutenant. Yeah, I guess that's what I've been trying to.
Right. This is probably not relevant to our case. After all, we're not investigating an accounting mystery.
Okay, but apparently I have another chance at this now because I gained volition through focusing. So it wasn't completely useless. Let's try it again.
Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer.
All right, let's have a look at the note.
It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everart's plants, sweep office floor, more banners.
Okay, who's Leo?
All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled.
Okay, so it's a to-do list that's already done. Look, Kim, a to-do note with a list of errands for Evra.
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
Well, I mean, maybe there's like a secret code to it. Like reading the first letters of each word. I don't know, maybe there isn't. I mean, I feel this has to be significant. I had to pass like 2 skill checks to get here.
The special borscht seems a bit odd in the list.
Yeah, what is special whirling borscht? I feel there's some kind of code to this note, but I can't really tell. Okay, well, whatever.
The drawer slides shut smoothly.
Okay. Also, I just got a new skill point. I think I wanted to increase my visual calculus for the footprints, but I mean, it's going to be a while until I return there, probably, so maybe I'm actually going to open another slot for internalization. I have quite a few thoughts that I can pick. Let's unlock this one. And now we have to pick one. Some kind of superstar. I mean, this would be kind of nice. Mazovian socioeconomics. Caustic echo. Finger pistols. I think I kind of want to internalize finger pistols. And I mean, I barely have any savoir-faire anyway, so this is not going to be a huge loss. Magnesium-based life form. Jamais vu. I mean, they make this one sound very ominous, like the most important of all thoughts, so I will get to this one eventually. The 15th Indo-tribe and the Kingdom of Conscience. You know what? I'm going with the finger pistols, because it's just so stupid. Let's pick it. Alright. And it doesn't take that long, so hopefully we will be finished with that one soon. This is a Dewey typewriter. The model name is on the back. Every worker member of the board is written at the top of the flyers. And at the bottom, the union logo and demand democracy. Alright. The door is locked and cannot be opened from this side without a pass card. Guess you have no choice but to talk to the union leader. Okay, so I can't go through here. Well, gotta find another way. And that's another postcard. This laminated postcard offers a glimpse across the river. A little more than a decade after the war, the eastern bank is already fully renovated. The hillsides are lush with gardens and residences. Someone's parked a small beige airship by the fountain. This postcard will sell for a pretty penny. I mean, a little bit. So are the postcards just for selling, or do they have any other function? Ooh, what is this? Neat office shades. Huh. I don't think I have any glasses so far. No, I do not. And well, look at that. More visual calculus, which is what I need for that other skill check. And it will decrease my drama. But I have like decent amount of drama, so maybe I'm going to wear them. Of course, I can barely see them because I'm wearing the hat. Can I like take this off for a second? Yeah, look at that. Amazing. I like it. Alright, so we found something useful. And more magnesium. I will gladly take this as well. Yeah, it looks like we're done here. I mean, there's nothing else in this drawer, right?
The file cabinet stands steady. The drawer slides shut.
I mean, what if I do take another look at the note?
Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Alright, so there's not really anything I can do about it.
The drawer slides shut.
Okay, in that case, never mind. Let's leave this place the same way we came. And yeah, it's starting to rain. Great. So, I'm guessing this is the way we need to go now? All around you, great machines in quiescence. Okay. White pine trees are printed onto the screen covering. Looks like a forest under snow. Alright. So, where's this going to? Okay, there seems to be some way to go here. What is this?
A rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block.
Okay, so go and stop, I presume?
Marche. On. Arrête. Off.
Alright, or that. Yeah, sure, let's press Marche. What could possibly go wrong?
With a loud grind, the crane
Ooh.
shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air.
Okay. Oh, are you putting it down? Well, I mean, this might be useful unless it's going to tip over. Okay, apparently it doesn't. Alright, so now we can maybe investigate the container.
And, with a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down.
Alright.
The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose has been fulfilled.
Its purpose, what do you mean? Understood, let's get back to the panel. Yeah, what purpose?
Moving this container, of course. For this purpose it was built. For this purpose it has acted. And now it will rest.
Well, probably not just this one container, but I get what you mean.
I can't see how that was worth the records, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
I mean, I just wanted to see what it does. I'm guessing pressing off now isn't really going to do anything.
The crane does not return to its original position. It does not move at all.
Alright, in that case, let's just leave. Okay, well, we might be able to take a look at that container now, but the episode is getting very long, so I'm going to make a cut here and we will continue in the next one. So as always, thank you for watching and see you again next time.